Hi, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
And welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. Well, Jim, let's get up in this and start the week with what almost was in the NHL. It looked like maybe we were close to a deal, but not so much, eh, Jim?
No, not quite. The NHL put one out that appeared to be pretty good because, of course, they tell you the best part of it when they announced the deal.
Right.
Players didn't think so. There was like an initial a deal might get done. NHLPA says they're not quite down with it, and then it all went
right.
Everyone's like, oh, this is pretty good, 50-50. Like, yeah. Well, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, no. So it was like a nice roller coaster of emotions. I don't like roller coasters that much. The NHLPA came back with 3 proposals, all of which were apparently shot down in a matter of 10 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
The third one, though, to be fair, I guess they hadn't even run the numbers yet. So they were like, oh, this deal is good because this, and this, but we haven't actually run the numbers. So I can imagine how quickly the NHL would say no.
Yeah.
No. So they say the November 2nd is the last possible day for an 82-game season, and they've canceled all games up to November 1st. So they're drawing their line in the sand there, and I guess we wait.
A couple of things on this is, one, every media, every Twitter follower that we have was like so happy about this when it came out,
Yep.
And it was so funny. It was like drive time home. Every sports show I listened to was, yeah, this is great. And then morning radio the next day was like, yeah, no, not so much. And it was hilarious to hear. And then the second thing is that I mean, what I'm seeing on Twitter and what everybody else is kind of saying is that this might be kind of a take it or leave it. You take it, or there can be a little adjustment here and there. But then if not, then say goodbye to the season. It almost sounds like. Yeah,
and the other thing that I sort of picked up from it is like the NHL put out their proposal, and it was like, okay, well, if the NHLPA works off of theirs, we might get somewhere. But if they bring out three of they bring out one of their own, never mind 3 of their own, then it might almost be a non-starter. And if you dismiss 3 proposals in 10 or 20 minutes, that sounds non-starter-ish to me.
No kidding. Yeah, ish. Zach Parise had an interesting quote this week about the lockout, though.
Yeah, it's fun to hear players speaking out here and there.
No kidding, I like it.
I guess mainly because owners aren't allowed to, so the only frank conversation you hear is from players. Parise said, you have all these owners signing big deals minutes before the CBA expires, then going the next day, we don't want to pay these contracts. Maybe that's how they conduct business. That just doesn't seem right. What if us players signed a deal and said, you know what, I actually want 15% more? He says he wasn't pointing fingers at anyone, a.k.a. his owner, /GM, who gave him a 13-year, $98 million deal this summer, which was a twin deal for another player, which we also saw. Big news this summer when that went down. But as we've been saying all summer, how are the owners signing these deals and then coming back right away and saying, oh, these deals are crazy? So it's good to hear a player say that, and because it's what we all think. But, it's a touch. I don't know if hypocritical is the right word, but it's like, dude, you signed one of those big deals. You can't say that you're not pointing the finger at your guy. Because your guy's one of the guys leading the negotiations, leading this 5-year cap.
There it is.
Same number of dollars in each year, bonus money, this and that. I mean, obviously you are. And I guess for the sake of the relationship, you can't really say I'm pointing the finger at this guy, but I'd say it's heavily implied that you are.
It's 100% implied. And that's exactly who he's talking about and who's part of the problem. Like we said, this Leopold signs a contract one day and is one of the major partners in trying to get the this new CBA the next day. It's absolutely crazy. So this past week, the city of Seattle approved a revised arena plan. And that's kind of interesting because it happened the same week as some big news on the old Edmonton arena front, Jim.
It always seems to happen on the same week that there's something big coming up in Edmonton. I don't know if that's just sheer coincidence or what, but it was a bad week here in the City of Champions.
It was.
They decided to scrap negotiations. For now, City Council did after the Cates Group didn't present a new offer on the drop-dead date and didn't show up to council either on the big day. Lots of frustration on both ends. A big problem for the city was a $6 million a year subsidy that the Cates Group asked for about a month or so ago. The city says they asked for it without really justifying why they need it or why they want it or why they should get it. And they still haven't justified it, I guess. And, there's parts of the project that they want the city to pay for that the city says, well, that's not really part of it. Like a bridge across 104th Avenue. The city's like, well, why should we, that's not really part of the thing. That's a bridge that'll help people get to your place. So I mean, it's much more complicated than that. There's all kinds, but the bottom line is they're far apart on a number of issues. Sounds a lot like the NHL lockout.
Yeah.
They're talking about what constitutes revenue, what this and that, and but it looks bad. It looks bad.
It really
so I don't know
does.
what the options are from here on out. They could resume talks, but the longer it goes, the more expensive it'll end up costing. And there's also the chance the city could pay for it to just build it themselves. They still need the Oilers.
Yeah.
They need a tenant.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we'll end up like Kansas City.
I like the build it ourselves. If that's fantastic. That's something that I didn't really even think was on the table. But good for
Where's
them.
the money coming from, though? You know what I mean?
Totally.
You gotta
figure that out.
You gotta get the money from somewhere, and you can't
That's
just
true.
take it from us.
What? Interesting. And one last note for the NHL before we move on. Have you heard the latest Roberto Luongo rumor? Didn't think we can have rumors right now, Jim.
Yeah, Sportsnet reports the deal is all but done between the Canucks and Leafs. Both sides deny it. No CBA, no trades, though. So it's all speculation right now, and we won't know until we have a new CBA and we see what that looks like. But that's the last place I thought he would end up, especially since he's got final say.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be interesting because, hey, why not bring a guy that's known more for being shaky in clutch situations? Yeah, they should take
center of the world. Yeah, that would be good. I like it.
Yeah, if he thinks he's getting
Worked
helped
on
by the media
Yeah.
in Vancouver,
It's gonna be worse in Toronto. Way worse.
oh boy.
That's why he wants to go to Florida. Why don't we talk a little bit about Canada's national soccer team, Jim? We don't do it much, but when we do, it's after an 8-1 loss to Honduras. What in the heck was that there, Jim? What was going
Oh
on?
my God, it
My
was
God.
terrible. I got all set up to watch it at work for research.
Right, research.
Obviously, yeah.
Good. Good.
And it was like 3-0 after 20 minutes, so I turned it off. But then it was like 6.
Oh, man.
6-0, 6-1, 7-1. So I started watching again and chanting, "We want 10." Because how often are you going to see a team get close to 10 goals
Soccer.
in a World Cup qualifying
no
match?
kidding.
So I thought, okay, but that's embarrassing.
Oh, it's bad.
That knocked them out of World Cup qualifying.
Good.
Maybe a mercy knockout.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't been to the World Cup since 1986.
Wow.
I remember it well.
Were you born, Jim?
I was one, okay?
Yeah, there
And
you go.
depending on when the tournament was held,
Right.
probably late June, July. I was one, freshly one, okay?
First one. You remember it well.
Doing all kinds of grown-up stuff.
That's right.
Head coach Stephen Hart later resigned after this, after yet another Honduras goal later in the week.
Right.
So we're now without a coach, and we're out of World Cup qualifying, and we can stop talking about the Canadian men's national soccer team for a while.
I should hope so. It's that bad, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give a good here. Let's move on to the Gabbies. These are the good and bad by you. We're going to give a good to boxer Orlando Cruz, who won his first fight since announcing he is gay 2 weeks ago. The WBO's fourth-ranked featherweight earned a decision over Jorge Pazos.
Nice.
Thank you. Great story and good for him. We don't see enough athletes coming out. We know that they're all over the place, but we don't see enough coming out, that's for sure. The only thing to go right into stereotype side for a second is, I wonder if Jorge got like a question about, well, how'd you feel about hitting a gay guy? You know what I mean?
I know, and you can imagine that these types of things would come up.
Oh,
right?
totally.
And that's what's even crazier about Orlando Cruz. Not crazier, but
Yeah.
I guess braver about Orlando Cruz coming out is because that if you want to talk about alpha male macho
kidding.
sports, well, boxing is probably it, even at featherweight, which doesn't sound very macho.
That's right.
But that's one of those sports that you can imagine the homophobia.
Oh God,
and that's possibly there in certain corners, anyways, of boxing. But good on him, and it's not often you see a guy coming out in the middle of his career. So
yeah, no kidding.
It's I don't know if you'd want to call it a risk, but it's a big step that not a lot of athletes take.
Absolutely, good on him.
Yeah, how about a good to the unnamed bidder who dropped $10,000 on a packet of expired barbecue sauce this week, Jeff? It's not just any barbecue sauce, though. It's McJordan sauce, which was used on the McDonald's McJordan burger 20 years ago. I think it was to commemorate Canada's last World Cup.
Oh, nice work.
The guy who sold it says Michael Jordan was not the buyer.
Right.
He can probably afford better barbecue sauce than expired McDonald's. I didn't know McDonald's stuff expired.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think that's why it was worth so much.
Yeah, it's still good.
There's also a McJordan burger that looks exactly like it did 20 years ago.
Right.
But that's $20,000.
That's $20,000. I would spend a lot, Jim, for really good barbecue sauce, but I don't know about $10,000.
Barbecue sauce that you can't use.
Exactly. Let's give a good to Toronto FC for slashing ticket prices after this disastrous MLS season. They went 5-20-7, finishing dead last in the league. The top price season ticket will cost just over $1,000 compared to the almost $1,300 this past year. Nice to see a little accountability because it's quite obvious that the savings the increased ticket price wasn't really being spent on talent. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, and let's just get right into the bad here, where the Boston Red Sox are keeping ticket prices the same despite their worst season in nearly 50 years. The Red Sox went 69-93, missing the playoffs for the third straight year and putting up their lowest winning percentage since 1965. You figure they'd be giving tickets away at this point. Now, I'm not saying that you should base ticket prices year after year on whether or not you did well in the standings, but if you're a team with a big payroll, who's expected to do well, and you missed the playoffs 3 straight years. Granted, it's the MLB, but they even missed that phony second second wild card spot this year. So, but your worst season in 50 years, the team's been embroiled in controversy off and on for about 2 seasons now. Knock those prices down, man.
Did you just say a team who hasn't gotten the playoffs the past 3 years and maxed out the top amount? And losing didn't drop their tickets. Weird. I wonder who that sounds like. Weird.
The Boston Red Sox.
Right. Edmonton Oilers. Back to the Asian Football Confederation, who apologized to United Arab Emirates this week for referring to them as sand monkeys. Dear God. In an article on their official website, the AFC says they saw the term on a web-based encyclopedia. I wonder which one. And
I wonder which one that we can go and change right now.
Yeah, exactly. And thought it was the UAE's nickname. Their nickname is actually Al Abayed, or the Whites, which, whatever. But,
it's funny.
It's kind of funny. According to ESPN, we talk about racist stuff on this show all the time, and it's like, we got to get rid of it. Like, this is absolutely beyond. Like...
I hope somebody out there is watching this for the first time and heard you just say,
we talk about racist stuff all the time on here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Not the good stuff. That's bad. We're bringing it to light.
All time. Yeah, I love that someone's like, it says on Wikipedia. Granted, we've all done it.
Yes.
But if it's like sand monkeys or something like that, that's not where like if it's like, Jeff was born in San Diego.
Right.
Wikipedia said it. It's probably true. Whatever.
That's right.
But if it's like Jeff is a high-ranking member of the KKK, I better double-check that.
Now, if you were listening or watching this for the first time, this is not...
He was not born in San Diego, nor is he a high-ranking member of the KKK, despite what the Wikipedia page I'm about to set up says.
That's right. For some reason, I feel that this isn't the clip they're going to take for iNews 880 to play on the radio. Weird. So let's keep going.
I will.
Yeah, that's right. Good. I think you're up.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
We just got off track there.
Yes.
Let's continue with a strange week in soccer. A bad to the French TV host who caused an uproar in Japan after showing a mocked-up picture of the national team goalie with 4 arms, describing it as the Fukushima effect. The Japanese embassy in France sent an official letter of complaint to the TV station, saying the joke clearly lacks the sensitivity that they were hoping for. Over 15,000 people, of course, died in the nuclear crisis. 3,000 are still missing. So to poke fun at that, you know, I know we're in a world of extreme political correctness. That's probably, and I'm being completely honest here, that's probably something if you had that in your mind, you'd show it to a friend.
Yeah.
Not like post it on your Facebook or put it on TV.
That's right. Yeah. That's
like that.
Way
Okay,
too far.
people like to make jokes about everything.
Right.
Fine.
Fine.
There, you know,
Cool.
maybe there shouldn't even be lines when it comes to humor because you know you need to laugh about stuff, right? But that's like a group of friends joke.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a little too far. I agree. Well, folks, the punchline this week is both the NBA and the MLB, two leagues that are actually playing right now.
Yeah, a 2-for-1 this week. The NBA's announced it's putting players on the clock during the pregame festivities to avoid late starts to games.
Nice.
Because of elaborate handshakes, chest bumps, and the like.
Sorry, is that a quote? Like, is that...
elaborate handshakes and chest bumps. Yep.
That's lovely.
Yep. They'll put 90 seconds on the clock once the pregame introductions are completed. If you're not ready to go, delay of game. Second warning. Tee up. I love how the NBA tries to suck the personality out of the sport because the NBA probably has the athletes with the most personality out of any sport.
Absolutely.
You know, making Iverson cover up his tattoos, dress code, and now cutting down on pre-game elaborate handshakes
and chest bumps and the like. Is this like a real thing that's happening? Apparently it is.
Apparently. But it gets better.
Okay.
The MLB, Commissioner Bud Selig, doesn't like champagne celebrations in the locker room and wants to get rid of them. And I quote, "You want to have great celebrations, fine. But spraying each other with champagne is not that."
Bud Selig is 105 years old. You can just tell.
I saw a couple funny comments on the story that I read about that, and they're saying, well, maybe Congress should take this up.
That's a good one. I like that one.
What about baseball has Congress not tried to get to the bottom of? Well, champagne celebrations. Now, I think there's something to it if we're talking about you win the wild card playoff
Totally.
You win the one-game playoff. You start your next series 2 days from now, and you go into the dressing room and douse each other with champagne. I was like, okay, I mean, come on, fellas. You probably had a champagne thing when you made the playoffs, when you clinched. You did it after this one game, which we here at 15 Minutes of Fame think is a cop-out anyways.
Absolutely, 100%.
But spraying each other with champagne is not that. Really, man?
Nice.
Really? That's because you've never been sprayed with champagne,
That's
son.
right. Never won a thing in your life.
Yeah, bud.
Well, folks, on that note, that's our 15 Minutes of Fame up for this week. Join us again next week when we get a whole new 15 Minutes of Fame. In the meantime, I'm going to go spray some champagne all over the place.
And I'm with Mel Gibson.
Have a good week, folks. I wonder what you...